Welcome. I am here today with Anne Long. Anne is the founder of Burbity Workspaces and some brands underneath that umbrella brand. And you can walk us through that. Her first space was Liberty Lake Coworking in Spokane, Washington. Anne, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jamie. It's great to be here with you.
Yes. So this is dual purpose because you have so much going on that I've been like, I need to understand what Anna's working on. So I'm going to rope her into doing a podcast episode so that we can catch up and everyone else can hear. Even our little pre-chat, I thought we should be recording because I think people are, people love to be a fly on the wall in terms of what everybody else is trying to figure out. So
absolutely. That's how we all learn.
I know. So Anne, I want to hear your story because you are like moving and shaking, but I first have to say, I first met you. We've not met in person, but we're about to. Yay.
Yes. In about 20 days, I think.
I know. I have to do my posts. The Juicy team has been sending me my promo template. So we'll get to see each other in Washington. So how far are you from Seattle?
We're in Spokane. It's about a 4.5 hour drive.
Oh, okay. It's not super close. That's why you were like drive, fly.
Right.
So we're going to meet, but Anne, we met like 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I hosted a workshop at the end of the year and Anne had this fancy like Trello board that I was very impressed with. And she asked because she's like, I don't think that was even a thing, but for whatever, I was like, Anne was on my radar screen. So Anne does some coaching calls for us. She jumps into our community manager university group, and that group is on fire these days. So those Q&A calls are like, you're not even getting through all the questions, right? That's what was happening to me.
No, they are amazing. They are an amazing group of people. Love it.
So fun. I often think, for people who are having a hard time hiring, I wish they could just get some inspiration and some optimism from listening to that group because it's such an engaged group and they're all over it. So yes, so Anne, thank you for doing that. And sometimes you run our flight group calls. So Anne's been jumping into the Everything Co-working team, which we really appreciate, which is the other reason I wanted to have you on the podcast. I'm like, people need to know Anne's story. Okay, so speaking of your story, tell us your co-working story. How did a little bit of your kind of professional background and how you got into co-working?
Well, I come from the airline industry and I was there for a very long time, couple of decades. But I left my corporate job, which was a sales position that I was in for about 12 years, and started my own my own consulting business as a customer experience strategist. And I thought, I just wish I had my own space to host my clients. That would be so awesome. People aren't very candid during our conversations when we're in their office space. And there must be
the walls are listening, like that kind of thing.
The walls are listening, exactly. Even the owners are, I really can't really say because so-and-so can hear what's happening. So I experimented with working in co-working spaces, which I'd never heard of before. I was, in the corporate world, that was not in my realm of things. And I tried a few throughout the country and loved them. I love the energy. I love the decor. I love the productivity that I had. I had worked from home for many years, 10 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And my productivity just skyrocketed. My focus time skyrocketed. And I got to meet new people, which was amazing. And I just loved everything about it. So I thought maybe I should open a co-working space so I'll just do my consulting on the side or both. I could do both. No. I must focus on consulting, must focus on that business. So I did. And about a year later, it just kept bubbling up and the co-working thing. And so I said to my husband, let's just do it. Let's do it. So we did. And we focused on Liberty Lake because it's a hotbed of entrepreneurs and remote workers. And now this is all prior to COVID, and young families. That was the other target. We needed and my avatar at the time was graphic designers and software engineers. That's who I wanted in this space.
Okay.
And that was all that there was a lot of those in Liberty Lake. So we found a 4,600 square foot space and we did a lease, and we had built out 12 offices. We have 6 dedicated desks, and then we had flex space there, about 8 flex desks. So that's how it all started. That's where we started, and we opened our doors in January of 2020.
Oh my gosh. So many people have that story. I feel like, wow, I forgot that was your story. Okay. Is your husband actively involved in the business?
He is. He's
okay.
actively involved. He actually runs Liberty Lake now that I have opened another location. And so we kind of run it together, but he's there every day at Liberty Lake.
Okay. Okay. We'll have to talk about that later. Well, now you're in different locations. That might be kind of ideal. So it's not like you're hanging out all day, every day.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds. So I feel like most people who take 4,000 square feet on their first try do not know to do the product mix that you did. How did you decide to do that?
I'm not, well,
it's all a blur, but
it is kind of a little bit of a blur, to be honest. However, Jamie, I will tell you, I listen to your podcasts day and night, literally. And that gave me a lot of fuel. And it just helped so much by hearing other people's stories of what worked for them and what didn't work. So thank you, Jamie, for your inspiration and your help along the way.
And to everyone like you who's willing to share their story.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. I'm very scrappy, which I think you know now. But so I laid it all out myself, the TIs. The landlord actually paid for the TIs. I had to pay, I think, $5,000. That was it.
Wow.
And then he paid for everything else, which was awesome. That helped a lot.
Yeah. Was it from shell, or was it a fresh build out, or did you kind of work with a second gen space?
I did work with a second gen space. It was an open concept space. They had some offices already in the perimeter, and they also had 2 conference rooms, or 1 conference room that we kept. So there was quite a bit that we were able to work with, but we added, I don't remember exactly how many offices. I want to say 8 offices to the existing, and otherwise it had all been open. So that worked real well. I will say that I still had too much flex space in it. Now, knowing now what I know, flex space for us is just not a moneymaker.
Do you think
in my
it's
pro
the
forma,
market or the folks you attract? What about your software engineers and your designers?
Well, I have in my space every day, I probably have about 3 flex space people on average. And that's been pretty consistent since we opened. So initially I had, I think, 12 seats open in there. We've recently reconfigured it. So I think we're down to 4 flex spaces, and then we have 2 pods that I can get monthly rent on now. So that's helped too.
Wait, what does the pod look like?
It's kind of a micro office. I believe it's about 7 by 8. And it has.
Get this from someone? Was this a scrappy story?
No, this one I actually bought.
Okay.
New. I did buy that new. It's a trend from Trend Wall.
Okay.
And they are 8-foot walls with glass, open tops, lockable doors.
Okay. But you're selling it.
We sold them.
And the open top is fine.
It is fine. I have not gotten any complaints. I'm not 100% happy with the open top. I've got bids out now for sound masking.
Oh, got it. Which is expensive to install. So Yeah, but I feel like that's good because you've been debating the open top. You had to try it.
Had to try it.